matters to attend to, his own wedding. But there was still time later in the evening to leave the wedding reception and play for the Montreal Canadiens and to score the first goal of the game, the first goal of his playoff career, helping the Montreal Canadiens to a 4-2 victory over the Boston Bruins and a 2-1 lead in this Adams Division semifinal. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Boston Garden for game number 4 with one of the heroes of game number 3. I am Dave Hodge, and this is Steve Rooney, who has a playoff goal and a new wife and a whole lot of memories of yesterday. Capsulize it in 30 seconds for me. Was your head spinning?
Well, yes, it was a pretty exciting day. I woke up in the morning. I had to prepare myself for the wedding, and right after the wedding, I had to prepare myself for the playoff game. And, you know, I'm just glad the day ended off on a great note by getting a win in Boston.
Now, was there any objection at all from your new wife, Laura, that you should be absent from the reception and dash away from the wedding for these other important matters?
Well, you know, it's something big for both of us. She understood that I had to play hockey, and she's very understanding about that. And, you know, she was a little upset when I first told her about what was going to happen. But after a while sitting, just talking about it, you know, we kind of got a little bit of a laugh out of it.
There was no thought of changing the date?
No, not at all. I think that we had the plan set for a few months now, and I think it kind of would have ruined it even more if we did, you know, try to organize it. It's pretty tough to organize something like that.
Well, I'm tempted to say, just remember your anniversary date, and you'll never forget when you scored your first playoff goal. You figured that out, of course. It was an important goal that Steve Rooney scored, and taking the lead in this series seems to be ultra important, especially tonight. For more on that, here is Dick Urban.
Well, Dave, certainly, as you say, an early lead means a lot in this series, any playoff series. We saw an example of it last night. Jacques Lemaire, just a few minutes ago, talking about it, saying he doesn't want the Bruins to do to the Canadiens tonight what his team did to the Boston team last night. As Jacques put it to me, you can't give them an inch. There was home ice advantage the Bruins' way, we felt, when this series switched down here to Boston. They've lost that now. Another thing the Bruins are facing, tradition. They played the Canadiens 20 times in the playoffs prior to this year, and the Boston team has managed to win just twice. So that little bit of a traditional jinx facing the Bruins here tonight as they face elimination. We think that things will be popping on the ice, not only on the ice, but here in the popcorn machine as well. And a couple of fellows who think it will be are upstairs in the broadcast booth right now. So let's join Mickey Redmond and Bob Cole.
Well, while Dick is enjoying the popcorn down there, Mickey will get set to enjoy the good seats for Boston and Montreal here in Game 4. That Boston line of Simmer, Linsman, and Crowder was obviously missing last night. Crowder is back in tonight. That should make a difference for the Bruins.
Well, Bob, they hope he's back to full health. He's had the flu. He really does not look all that well. It'll be interesting to see if Keith has got his full strength back, but certainly he should make a difference being back on that line.
Mickey, you remember the outstanding job Keynes did in the first game of Montreal? He's back again tonight.
Well, you can't. Harry Sinnon's got to go with him. He finished the season 8-1-1 with a 2.87 goals against. He's going to live or die with Dougie Keynes tonight.
We'll be going in a moment. Here's Dave.
From the Boston Garden, Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC return in just a moment. Again tonight, we will be updating the action from the Nassau Coliseum, Long Island, game number 4 of the series between the Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders in the Patrick Division semifinals. This has been a classic defensive series, one goal deciding all 3 previous games. Last night, with the Islanders back home and facing elimination down 2-0, they took a 2-0 lead, and it turned out they would need this second goal by Brent Sutter. It was scored late in the third period. The Islanders appeared to be home free, but the Caps pulled their goalie and scored once in the final minute and came rather close to evening the score and sending it into overtime. It would have been the 3rd straight overtime game in the series. The Islanders now have some momentum going for them, and they have all the playoff experience any team could want. So the Capitals can't be too certain, even with the 2-1 series lead. 2 other series are still going to a 4th game tonight. Quebec is at Buffalo. The Sabres finally ending the Nordiques hex with a 6-4 win last night, and it was a comeback win at that. And the other series has the Winnipeg Jets at Calgary. Winnipeg ahead 2-1. But the big news from this series is that Dale Hawerchuk is out of the Winnipeg lineup with a rib injury, and we hope to have a special report on that later in our broadcast tonight. Let's go now up to the broadcast booth and Bob Cole.
The referee tonight is Brian Lewis. Bozak and Hodges are the linesmen again. And the goaltenders tonight, Steve Penny will be in the nets for the Canadians as long as they remain alive. And the chase for the Stanley Cup, he has turned in 2 fine performances. Doug Keynes, who played in games 1 and 2 in Montreal, will try to get the Bruins even again. He was very, very steady for Boston in their only win. Of course, a win tonight for the Canadians, and Harry Sinden and the Bruins are finished for the season. Jacques Lemaire, as you heard Dick say, knows full well that the Bruins are going to come out fighting tonight. And you can see the intensity in the eyes of Jacques Lemaire. So we're in for 2.5 to 3 hours of more excitement here from the old Boston Garden. The Bruins and the Canadians, a tradition that goes way, way back. And it's always great to be here. Brian Lewis, the referee, over talking at the Bruins bench now. And it appears that whatever was wrong is okay. Simmer is over there. He's all right. And Simmer will be starting on the left side with Linsman and Crowder on the right side. For the Bruins, Blum and Bork on the defense. Green and Ludwig on the defense for Canadians. Ryan Walter, McPhee and Hunter, and that's a tough line for the Canadians. Already McPhee and Crowder are going to go at it.
They haven't dropped the puck.
See that in a playoff game?
No, never have, Dick. Never. I don't know that I've seen it in a regular season game, let alone a playoff game. Well, Bob, we talked about Crowder not long ago, and he's made his presence felt before the first second is ticked off the clock.
Well, he's back in the lineup, but now he'll be gone for at least 5 minutes. But, you know, they were jawing at each other while Lewis was over at the Bruins bench, and they continued to jaw at each other. Then a little push, and then they both went inside the circle, and all right, let's go.
You've got to wonder, Dick, as we mentioned, how strong Keith Crowder can be with suffering from the flu. He's got to be obviously very weak. And fighting like that and holding on and tugging and pulling is not going to help him any, but he's certainly got these fans fired up here at the Gardens right off the bat, and he also hopes the Boston Bruins.
Obviously, somebody rang the bell. They were talking to each other for, well, maybe 10, 15 seconds. Very little pushing, really. Not very much contact, but then they moved inside that circle, and then one of them triggered it with whatever he said. And whammo, well, you saw it. McPhee and Crowder going here at the 0 mark of this game. So they'll get major penalties, no doubt. And the Canadians now get the draw with the game underway, and Hunter shoots it in. John Blum and Bork are the 2 Bruins defensemen. 4 Canadians lined up at the blue line watching the Bruins organize, and will they come out? I think so. Good move by Linsman. Linsman flying in there. Linsman gave it a Simmer, a low shot, missed the net. Blum might put one on the goal. No, he goes to the corner with it. Slager in there, rather. Slager on the boards, rolled it back to the line, and the Canadians can't get it out. Now they do. Bruins starting early, bringing the game to Montreal. Gainey checking Blum at center ice. They push at each other. Hunter is in there also. We might get another one going here. We've got another one going here.
Now, boys, we could be here for a while. Gainey and Blum. 47 seconds into the hockey game. The business at hand right now is fighting on the eve of the big fight tomorrow. They love it here at the Gardens. Away goes Johnny Blum and Bob Gainey.
Stanley Cup 85 on CBC is coming to you from the Boston Garden. The fans at the Boston Garden have come to know rough, tough hockey over the years. And here the Bruins, facing elimination tonight, start out like this and really give them what they sometimes come to see.
Well, what you're watching right now, Bob, is John Blum initiate the confrontation, and he's going to pay for it. He gets an extra 2 minutes out of this whole mess. Probably 2 and 5, and Gainey just a 5-minute major for fighting. So off the bat, we get Montreal with the man advantage. Boston would like to play it rough and tough, but they don't want to be taking too many penalties. Canadians had 2 power play goals last night.
We haven't even played a minute yet, Mr. Sinden. And you've got 2 in the box. And the Canadians have a pair in there. Crowder and McPhee started it before they even dropped the puck. Blum and Gainey going off with majors. And Blum also has the minor for roughing.
Boris Lukowicz, Bob, who's in the lineup for the first time in this series, replacing Curran, the defenseman, is in serving the 2-minute penalty to Blum.
Curvers is back there for Canadians with Chelios, who carries the puck out. Walter, Naslund, and Tremblay are up front. The Canadians are on a power play. That is Keynes. Couldn't clear it away. Milbury is back there with O'Connell, the Bruins defenseman. O'Reilly and Casper penalty killers. O'Reilly knifes it out of the zone, right down to Penny. Curver's back there. O'Reilly sweeping around inside the line. Now he'll try to pick up the winger and come back with him as Curvers carries to center. Played it in for Naslund. Naslund scooting away from O'Connell. Centered it. Tipped by Milbury away from the net. Curvers shot. Keynes down. Came close. And the Bruins shoot it down the ice. Minute 40 gone. First period. No score. A minute left in the Canadian power play. Blum drew 2 minutes along with a major. Out of the net, Keynes flipped it over to the corner. It comes back to Curvers again. He slides it in along the boards. Naslund now is trapped by O'Reilly. Gets it to Chelios to Curvers. Into Naslund. Naslund centered it. And the Bruins are going to clear it out. O'Connell with Casper. O'Connell's shot. That's blocked by Penny. 30 seconds left in the Bruin penalty as Chelios is in with one high on the glass. In after it. That is Hunter. It comes to Goring, though, and Goring couldn't clear it. Play is called. It was gloved ahead in the Boston zone.
Well, Montreal, nothing dangerous on this extra man situation. The Bruins doing a pretty good job of keeping them outside.
Mickey, what's it all prove? A couple of fights like that, first minute of play. Does it set anything up?
Well, you try to look to see what it might set up here, Dick, sitting just above the benches and right down where it's all at. But I suppose the only thing you could look to is that the Bruins are here to battle in any way they have to come out of here with a victory. And they're going to make it even more rugged on the Canadians than they did last night in games 1 and 2. But they can't afford to take the penalties because Montreal will hurt them on the power play.
Since game 1, you've been looking for something like this. Been waiting. It hasn't happened.
Funny talking to the linesman Bob Hodges and Ryan Bozak the other evening before game 3, and they were kind of nervous about how the game would be playing here in Boston, and talked to them today and see what I mean? No big deal. So they thought maybe things would be quiet, and look what happens tonight. They're right into it. Here's Goring. He was knocked down, and there's going to be a penalty to the Montreal Canadiens on the play. Goring tried to go in and was knocked down, and he draws a Montreal penalty. Live on CBC, this is Hockey Night in Canada. They're coming up to the 3-minute mark of this opening period. And here we've got the 5th penalty of the period. Svoboda has gone to the box. The Bruins, O'Connell. They now have a power play as Blum's penalty has been served. Carbonneau backs it up in the corner. Middleton centered it. Goring missed it. Tried to hit the puck out of midair. Naslund back up. With Carbonneau, they just shoot it into the Boston zone. Now the Bruins have the man advantage, and the Canadians keep them in there for a bit. That was Ludwig pressing them inside the line. Bruins, Bork to center. Bork fired it past to Middleton. Tried to get it back to Bork and went by everybody. Reed couldn't keep it in, and O'Connell is out in the center ice zone again. A minute 15 left in the Canadian penalty now. No score in this opening period. Here's O'Connell shooting it in on the corner. Comes right back to Reed. Reed is stopped over there. Two Canadians try to get it out. Chelios fell. Bruins are in there again. Right in is Reed. Couldn't get a backhander away. Reed again. Rolled it across to the other side. Linsman to Bork. Shot high off the glass. Bruins power play still inside the line. Canadians get it as far as the line, but not out now. Carbonneau ripped it to center. 43 seconds left in the Canadian penalty. And there's Bork. Oh, Penny got a piece of that. Bruins with the pressure on. Slager up the blue line. Wheeling away with it. Lost it. Naslin hooked it. Not out, though. Bork hit his own man, Reed, and it goes back to center. 20 seconds left on this power play. There is no score in this opening period. We're coming up with a 5-minute mark, and here's O'Connell again with Bork. Bork across center to O'Connell. He stepped in over the Canadian line. Rolled it off to the wing. Slager is bumped by Chelios. Bruins keep it in. Slager looking back. Got it in behind the net. Simmer hooked it back to the line. And the Canadian penalty is over, and they get a break now to center. Going in, Walter scores! Ryan Walter breaking out of the zone, and it's 1-0 Montreal.
Boy, a turnaround, Dick. Raymond Bork a moment ago almost putting the Bruins up 1-0. This play right here, Swoboda snuck out of the penalty box, would set this up, and the defenseman didn't see him to lean, and that's what set up the 2-on-1, actually a 3-on-2, as there was a trailer on the play, and Walter just drilled it between Dougie Keene's pads from about 20 feet.
We talked last night of Ryan Walter not scoring goals for the Canadians the way he did in Washington, but he got a big one last night, the clincher in the third period, and that's his second goal of the series. 1-0 Montreal.
4:53, the time of the goal by Ryan Walter, and the Canadians holding off the Bruins while they had the man advantage. Penalty was just over. Swoboda was on the ice no more than 6 seconds when the Canadians broke out of the zone, and Walter scored. So now Bobby Smith goes in. He dropped it, and that low shot by Rooney was just wide. Rooney again fired it up on the glass behind the net. Simonetti is back there. He is stopped. Simonetti lost it. Backhander by Smith. Smith again. Oh, that was close with Doug Keenes covering up, and Bobby Smith coming very, very close.
Boy, he was outstanding last night. Got a lot of attention from the Boston media today. Bobby Smith awfully close right there to giving the Canadians a 2-0 lead.
Keenes made a big stop there to keep this game 1-0, but you know, the guy that really worked hard on that shift was Boisvert, who's having himself quite a playoff. But you look at Walter's goal again. Serge Boisvert with a point in each of these first 3 hockey games in the series. Did some good work behind the net to get that puck out to Bobby Smith. Almost made it 2-0.
Well, you saw Mike McPhee perhaps got a quick look at him going to the Canadians bench. Now the 5 minutes is up. They have played 5 minutes and 21 seconds.
They're going back in, though.
I guess so. I missed on the penalties. I was having some problems with my communication. They get 5 minutes, or did they get 7? They got 5. And Crowder and McPhee 5 minutes at the 0-0 mark.
But they're still in there. So I wonder if there wasn't a misconduct to go along with that for fighting before the game has started. We'll have to look into that and let you know.
Crowder's still in the Boston side of the box.
That's right. They're both back in there.
Bloom and Gainey still sitting out their penalties.
Swoboda, by the way, was given an assist on Walter's goal. And the Canadians are up 1-0. Swoboda had just come from the penalty box. It's dumped into the Boston zone again. This could be offside. It is. Offside call by Ryan Bozak. It'll come back outside the line.
Now, with all of the telecasts back-to-back, 4 games and 5 nights, what have you, people like the Bruins' number 21, Frank Simonetti, get to be a little better known than they were. He's from Melrose, Mass., another of the Massachusetts-born players here tonight. Mike Milbury, his teammate, Chris Nyland, Steve Rooney for Montreal.
5 minutes, 33 seconds gone in the first period. The Canadians drawing first blood again tonight. The Bruins, though, had some good chances early, especially while they had the man advantage. Now Milbury with O'Connell. O'Connell gets it up as far as the line, and Turcotte was there. He's out with Naslund and Tremblay, and the Bruins break it up again. Goring's pass hit the skate of Reed. Now Tremblay took it from him, and Reed got it back. Reed to Milbury to Reed. He went in, and they caught him right away, and he couldn't get a shot. Canadians Green dumped it into the Boston zone. 6:15 gone, opening period. 1-0 Montreal. Ludwig pinching in. It was tipped to the side of the net. Naslund again dumped it out front. Grabbed by the goaltender, Doug Keens, as he intercepted that pass. 1-0 Montreal. They played 6 minutes and 26 seconds on the opening period. Canadians with a goal by Ryan Walter at 4:53, and the Canadians are in there again. Keens didn't see it. It dropped right in front of him. The Bruins, though, covered up, and they got it out of the zone. Chelios wrapped it back in. Simonetti turning with Raymond Bourque. Bourque now looking for some room, gives it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly back on the other side, and Casper racing in. And he stopped that. It looked rather easy. It was a tough, low shot, but he held it.
Our Stanley Cup update. The Islanders at home to Washington. We go to the Nassau Coliseum now, and here is Jim Hewson.
The New York Islanders strike first at home. 1:51 is the time of this power play goal. John Tonelli spots Denny Potvin breaking in from the left point. He beats Al Tinson. The Islanders go out front 1-0. Tonelli rinks wide to Dennis Potvin on Long Island. Potvin puts the puck behind Al Jensen. Jensen had been assessed a delay of game penalty. Gardner was serving the penalty when Potvin's goal put the Islanders out front 1-0 at 1:51 of the first period.
Play just underway. And the Canadians had to hustle to clear it out of the zone. Periodically tonight, we'll be taking you to Jim Hewson at Long Island. He's covering that game for us. We want you to stay abreast of all the action. The trail for the Stanley Cup. Here's Casper. Little weak backhander. Casper back to the net, though. Still on it. Casper being hounded, but he dropped it to O'Reilly around the net. O'Reilly lost it. The Canadians get it out over the line. To center ice. Hunter going in there. Raymond Bourque hit him, but Bourque fell down. Simonetti around the net. Trying to drive it out of the zone. Got it ahead, and O'Reilly missed that long pass from the other side. Svoboda fired one back of his own goal. Now the Canadians clear it well. Smith, a pass to Walter, going in. Boisvert right in front, Smith. And a beautiful save by Keens. Wow, he gets a big hand for the Boston crowd. Smith was set up perfectly. Canadians Ryan Walter again. Shooting it from center ice, and he immediately goes to the Canadians bench. They're nearing the 9-minute mark. The opening period, 1-0. Canadians lead it on the Ryan Walter goal. Pass behind. Lukowicz is on the ice for the first time. Gainey moving up. Put it over on an open wing, and Lindgren is back there for the Boston Bruins. He gave it away. There's a shot that's off the goal. Bruins simmer. O'Connell fired it off the stick away up high into the crowd. Walter is second of the playoff from Svoboda at 4:53, 1-0 Canadians.
When you buy a new...
Crowder and McPhee went off before the puck was dropped in to start the game for fighting. They also, by the way, Mickey, did draw 10-minute misconduct penalties. 1-0 is the score. The Canadians. Bruins start up. Celine wrapped one in on the board. Nyland is bumped in there. I think this is Nyland's first shift of the night. Canadians dump it down the ice. O'Connell is back. He has to lean to his left, the other defenseman, Linsman, Simmer, and now Middleton, as Harry Sinden tries to get some scoring punch. And he switches the lines a little bit. There's Linsman, and here's Simmer. Simmer. Middleton. The Canadians thought maybe there was a high stick, but Lewis says no. The game is tied.
It hit something, Bob. There was no question about it. The shot was going over the net, and it just went straight down into the corner. Let's see if we can pick it up, Dick, on the deflection. Simmer starts it out and goes right to Middleton. Let's see who it hits if we can.
Well, watch where Simmer's stick is, because if there's a complaint...
Well, I'll tell you.
Holy smoke, how could you tell?
Well, you can't tell whose stick it was, but it was definitely up over the shoulders. Watch Penny. See that?
I think...
You know what? It may have been...
Robinson? No, Ludwig.
Ludwig. I think it was Ludwig's stick. That's the strangest one I've seen in a long time.
Well, a couple of funny things here. A fight at the 0-0 mark. A goal like that knocked in over the shoulder by the defending team. The Boston Garden is rocking, and we've got a 1-1 tie. Here it is. I don't think this camera angle is the best.
Who's got the stick? It's definitely, it's got to be Ludwig's stick,
Yeah.
yes. He's the only one with the stick way up over the head like that, so it's a legal goal. We're tied at 1.
And it comes at 9:21 of the period. And the Bruins very quickly now are back into it. This is game 4 from the Boston Garden. Canadians lead the series 2-1, and they're in there after the puck again. On the left side, Lukowicz got it up to center ice to Slager, in with a drive. That miss came right back out front. Here's Bork. That stop, rebound is there, and the Canadians cover up and get it out of the zone again. Burgess went over there, and he ran into Boisvert rather heavily.
Well, you know, Dick, the goal, not so strange that the goal goes in the net, but I don't think I've ever seen a puck go that straight down from a high stick like that. It hit the blade of Ludwig's stick. Look where that thing is. It goes straight down underneath the blocker,
That's right.
And it hit the ice right about the red line and in the net. Nobody knew it was in until many seconds after it was already in the net.
Well, you look back on the save Doug Keats made on Bobby Smith, would have given the Canadians a 2-0 lead. We've got a 1-1 tie, just 2 seconds past the halfway mark, first period.
Goring with Reed and Middleton for Boston. Blum and Bork is on there again for the Bruins. Svoboda now coming in. Pretty good rush by Svoboda. He has to throw it off to the corner, though. Here's Robinson. Robinson for Canadians pinching in. He's in deep. Now Robinson has it. Takes a look around. Trying to roll it over. Bork is covering him. And Goring grabs it. Nearing the 11-minute mark of the opening period. We're tied at 1. Middleton coming out. Just drips one in on the boards. Back there, Robinson again for Walter. It hopped over his stick. Walter grabs it now. Walter against Middleton. Fired a high one into the Boston zone. O'Connell is back there. He went away from Naslund with a pass to Reed. Reed hit the skate of Carbonneau. Now Middleton at the blue line. Coming in with Reed. Reed shooting. Reed again. Goring was in front. Reed again with the puck back there. Can't get it out. Goring comes over. That's O'Connell now. And the Canadians again relieve the pressure and get it out. And he covers up. That's offside. And it's called back. Live on CBC, this is Hockey Night in Canada. There is Charlie Simmer, and in fact, gentlemen, he was credited with the Boston goal. Middleton got an assist along with O'Connell. So that high stick had to belong to Simmer.
Well,
how high it was, I don't know.
We'll have to try and get another look at it later on. No question about that.
But when Middleton took the shot, it definitely hit a stick. Simmer is credited with the goal, so we have to assume it was Middleton's stick.
All right, here it is again, Mick. Now, they're going to slow it down. The puck is in the air, and it's knocked down. Whose stick?
Is it Simmer's stick?
If it's Simmer's stick, the goal shouldn't count.
You're right. You can see Simmer's stick come flashing through there. Boy, I'll tell you what. That's difficult to call.
It's in the books now, and the game is tied at 1. With 8:25 to play in this opening period. So the Bruins get a break on that one. And this may be another break as they go in across the Canadian line. Not for long. Canadians move it out. Boisvert going in. High, whistling drive off the glass. Over the head of Doug Keynes. Pass to Smith didn't work for Canadians. Boston's O'Reilly is in there. O'Reilly is upended. O'Reilly couldn't reach it. He tried to swing at it, but he had been knocked down, and Rooney is back up for Montreal, shooting it in. Wide of the net. Canadians make changes. They continue to do that rather quickly in this first period. O'Reilly trying to catch up, but it's the Canadians going back there. Now O'Reilly has it. O'Reilly trying to center it, and it's blocked on the side of the net by Green. Montreal moving it to the line. Linsman kept it in. Curvers again. Got it by Linsman this time down the ice. Icing on this one. Celine is back there, and icing called against Canadians.
We've got a 1-1 tie here on Stanley Cup Update. We go back to the Nassau Coliseum and Jim Hewson.
After going without a shot on goal for the first 7.5 minutes of the game, the Washington Capitals finally get on the scoreboard on a power play. Mike Gardner breaks in from the right side. Billy Smith gets a piece of the shot. The puck goes in the net, and it's 1-1, the Capitals and the Islanders.
This is Bob Cole with Mickey Redmond and Dick Irvin at the Boston Garden with 7:24 to play in the opening period, and we're tied at 1. Walter for the Canadians at 4:53. Simmer for the Bruins at 9:21. And there's Simmer with it again. Celine in with a shot. That's blocked. Chelios for Montreal. Didn't move it out. Canadians on a second try. Nyland got it across the line, but the Bruins really good. Right in. Simmer. Stopped by Steve Penny.
If you have just joined us, this is the makings of fight number 3. Linsman in after the fact. And Carbonneau, meanwhile, there's 2 others, whoever they may be, locked in loveless embrace, lying on the ice.
It'll be Louis Slager, I believe, Dick, down on the ice.
Yeah.
It is Slager.
And
Still can't see the Montreal player down there. Back is Steve Penny. Whoever it is, very slow to get up. Is it Chelios? Yes, it is.
7:07 to play in the period. We're tied at 1. So the penalties continue to come. And we'll get these latest for you in a second. Slager, of course, of Boston will be going off.
What a stop that Penny made, Dick and Bob, on Charlie Simmer, who was sent in beautifully by that young man, Ken Linsman. Simmer doesn't miss too many like that. Penny stood his ground and stayed up, made the save.
Chelios of the Canadians also getting a penalty. There are 2-minute roughing penalties. Slager, Chelios at 12:53. Little less than 7 minutes remaining in the period. Now it's tied at 1. The Bruins coming back. This is Bork. Got it up to Simmer again. That'll be offside. Linsman reached back to take the pass, and a sharp call at the line. It was offside.
Mickey, until the Boston goal, there's Linsman punching Carbonneau in the back.
He's going to get a penalty.
Yes.
Now, that's the kind of thing they don't need.
Is that, are you sure about this?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I saw Brian Lewis made a motion. Now, whether you'll send them both or just Linsman, I don't know. It looks like just Kenny Linsman went.
Oh, you
Who was he after, Chelios again?
No, Carbonneau.
Carbonneau. Now, they can't afford this kind of stuff.
No, that's a dumb penalty.
Good to be intimidating, but not at the expense of your hockey club when you put them short-handed. And that is even worse because there already are 2 players in the box with minor penalties, so we'll have a 4-on-3 situation here. 4 skaters to 3.
You see, that was the second time while Chelios and Slager were on the ice. Linsman took a poke at Carbonneau. Now he took another one at him after the whistle. And at that point, Lewis said, that's enough. Mick, it's interesting to see the Canadians, as they were at the start of the game, coming out of their own zone very well. Lemaire said to me before the game, one thing his team has to be careful of. Don't let the Bruins set up. He said, once you let them set up, and they have that buzzing style of theirs, especially along the boards, he said, then you're in trouble. They've got to keep clearing that zone.
Get on them right away.
Yep, and move the puck out as fast as they can. They did a good job of it right up until the goal was scored.
Well, this building dictates that type of play because you don't have that much room to move. So the quicker you get on them, the more bad passes, I guess, you can create and not let them get the good setups.
Well, lots of room out there now. Canadians with 4 skaters and one of them curvers. Going in with the puck to Naslund. Didn't quite control it. Robinson up the line for Naslund again. Naslund straight along the boards to the corner and around the net. Got away from a pair of Bruins to give it to Curvers to Naslund. Naslund coming in, slides it right in there. Teams down, hangs onto it with Walters standing right in front of him.
Walter had his back to the net. Wasn't much he could do about it when the puck did get through. Very close quarters all around. Naslund had carried the puck along the boards.
You even notice here on a 4-on-3, the Bruins aren't afraid to challenge and go right out and not play the triangle. Because of that little extra or a little less room in that zone, they just don't leave you time to try to set up even when they're shorthanded. And as a result, Vic, the play to Walter that he couldn't do anything with, where they would have preferred a better pass, maybe open to Robinson, who was coming in behind.
Now Slager and Chelios are off for roughing, and they have 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining. And Linsman, who drew 2 minutes for roughing at 13:17, has 1:31 to go in his penalty. The score is tied at 1. Goring nearly got it out. Walter again. Robinson was in front of the net all alone. He didn't see him. And Goring on a second chance got it out. Naslund brought it in. Was knocked down by O'Connell. Canadians have Robinson with Curvers, Naslund, and Walter. And it's Robinson. He tried to go in. Nearly did. Puck is loose there. Here's Curvers setting it up. Naslund. Stop. Rebound. Naslund again to Robinson. Can't shoot it. He had to turn around. There's Walter faking it, giving it to Robinson again. There's a drive. Teams down. He is robbing the Canadians now. Robinson again off the boards. Ryan Walter in the corner. Naslund back there. Canadians, great pressure. Robinson, Curvers. Doesn't shoot it. Robinson to Curvers. Going right in there. Centered it. My goodness, they're all around the net. There's Robinson again. Taking a look. Chelios score! Tipped in by Naslund.
Yes, I believe.
At the edge of the crease on the shot, and finally they put it by Keene.
Referee Brian Lewis pointed back to the point with Chelios, but Naslund, I'm sure, Mickey,
Yes.
redirected it, and Harry Sinden is upset. He is going after Lewis on the other side
He's upset
as
about
best he can.
About the penalty, I'm sure, to Linsman, not the goal itself, because there's nothing wrong with the goal. But boy, what furious action we had leading up to that goal as Keene's, who was it, Ryan Walter, that he
That's right.
just, I mean, he just robbed him cold. There was nothing left but an open net. And there's the goal right there. I think it does hit Naslund and go down underneath Dougie Keene between his legs, but just a few seconds before, he absolutely robbed and picked Ryan Walter's pocket. I'm talking of Dougie Keene. That was great action.
15:02. The time of that goal by Naslund, and the Canadians now lead 2-1. Ludwig, a high pass ahead. Boisvert is in there. Nice skate save by Keens. Boisvert again from the corner. Back to the net to Bobby Smith. He centered it. Boisvert scores! Good play by Smith, but a great effort by Boisvert. Right. Canadians again jump out to a lead. It's 3-1.
There are some Canadian fans here. I tell you, Mick, this has been quite a line. Bobby Smith, Serge Boisvert, and Steve Rooney, the veteran between two rookies, and they did it here with hard work.
Oh, hard work. I'll tell you what, they never stopped. Boisvert's a speedster. He's all over the ice. You think he isn't happy? That's a point in every game for Boisvert. They do get a lucky bounce, but it was set up by their good hard work and their forechecking, and they had control. They had the Bruins hemmed in. They got the bounce off of Boisvert's midsection. He banged it off of Keens and up in the net. Boy, oh boy, that is something. You come out of nowhere with a line like that, and as Bob mentioned, Smith has been playing so well. Rooney gets married yesterday, scores the first goal. Boisvert's first playoff series. He's got a point a game. You got it all in that line.
15:30 the time of that goal. Number 3 on the night for Canadians. Milbury keeping it in for Boston. They'll hold it on the boards. At 4:13 to play in the period. Crowder, who drew a fighting major along with McPhee, also a misconduct. Before they dropped the puck in, is now back on there with Linsman and Simmer, so we'll watch that line. That line, Dick, in Montreal in the first game, dynamite against the Canadians.
Outstanding. I don't know, last night Charlie Simmer got the Bruins' first goal. After that, the Canadians contained him and Linsman very well all night.
O'Connell and Milbury, the two Boston defensemen. Arbonneau at center ice for Montreal. Gainey and Nyland are the wingers.
I don't know if we had a camera on that little sequence there with Chris Nyland and Charlie Simmer. It was like shadow box time. Nyland was all set to try to bust up the wing. If that's what Carbonneau wants to do with the draw, I guess, Mickey, to send it up to him. Here they go again. All right.
Comes back, Milbury. Milbury centered it. Gainey was there on top of it. Carbonneau missed it. It's right in front of Simmer. He's always around that net, Charlie Simmer. Canadians, Nyland skating to center ice. Simmer chasing him. Nyland in over the line. Rolled it in from Carbonneau. He went for the short side and just missed. Milbury giving a bump back there by Gainey, and the Bruins start to move it up. The center is Simmer, leaving it for Linsman. He did a shift away from Carbonneau. O'Connell, Crowder going in. And he snapped that one out of the air and held it.
The Canadians lead 3-1 here. We go back to our Stanley Cup update to the Nassau Coliseum and Jim Houston.
After a slow start, the Washington Capitals are starting to roll on Long Island. A shot from Stephen Pearson is blocked by Dave Christian. He goes down the ice 2-on-1 with Mike Gartner. Uses Gartner as the decoy, beats Billy Smith. 2-1 Capitals, 13 minutes into the first. Christian blocked the shot by Stephen Pearson. Then used Mike Gartner as a decoy.
And this is Bob Cole with Dick Irvin and Mickey Redmond at the Boston Garden. There you see the score. Canadians up by 2. And the Bruins out of control with the puck inside the line. Slager lost it. Now they shoot it back in there. Fergus on the ice coming in on this right side, causing a traffic jam in the corner. Robinson couldn't move it. In front of the net again, the Canadians finally do get it out across the line. And McPhee hops on it. McPhee trying to go in. Here's Hunter. And Keens got a piece of that. Set up by McPhee. Fergus to Bork again. He has to turn around with it near the line, and Hunter is all over him. And there's going to be a penalty to the Canadians. Hunter, as he grabbed Bork and pulled it down.
Well, Mark doesn't know where to go, Dick. He was caught red-handed.
Well, there's more happening at the Nassau Coliseum. Once again, here's Jim Houston.
So obviously, the Islanders with the veterans back in the lineup, and you know, somehow it's good to see fellows like Nystrom get it going again. He has meant so much to the Islanders. Mr. Overtime, as they called him. Even though they were aware that anytime you're into overtime against the Islanders, watch Nystrom. They'd watch him, but generally he'd get loose and get one. They have 5-4. Ludwig now back there up the line. Canadians leading 3-1. Boston trying to get back into this thing. O'Connell coming out with Bork, and now they're in there. They have the extra man. O'Connell takes his shot. That's blocked. Scoring again. Middleton back there trying to dig it out. Middleton. He's stopped in the corner. Once again, Carbonneau. He's in there with Ludwig. Goring. Canadians killing a lot of time. 1:05 left on this power play, and they're going to clear it out of the zone, I think. Carbonneau had a chance, but didn't move quickly enough. Goring now for Middleton, back to O'Connell. He barely kept it in. To Middleton. Goring went for the far side, and he hit Chelios in front of the net. Bruins over there. Nearly got caught on a player change. The puck rolling near the Boston bench. 35 seconds left of the penalty to Hunter of Montreal. 3-1, Canadians lead. The Bruins won a power play goal here. Simmer! Rebound is set up there. Penny made a good stop on Simmer's drive for the top corner. 23 seconds left in the Montreal penalty. Linsman is in there. Robinson stopped him. There's Simmer. He was belted on the boards. Bork passed it back to the net. And the Canadians shoot it out and down, and that will kill the penalty. It's right at Doug Keens. Hunter standing up over there, ready to come back on. As the Bruins shoot it in, Hunter is on the ice again. And another penalty coming up, but this time to Boston.
This one's behind the play, gentlemen. I think it's an interference call. As Bork had control at center ice with just a minute to play, trying to dump it in the zone. And Brian Lewis, who passed right in front of the Canadiens bench, caught something on the far side, and it's going to be number 13, Ken Linsman again.
He had a close-up of Steve Penny here a moment ago as he came to the bench on the delayed penalty call and then took a swig of water, I guess. Mickey, he has made two very big saves off Charlie Simmer in this first period.
Sure has. Especially the first one, the breakaway that Penny got his pads on, and here just a moment ago. Here it is right here. Simmer not with as good a chance as the last time, but he's 25 feet out, and again, Penny was there.
Canadians win there. Bobby Smith. Smith got a neat play back to Chelios. That's stopped by Keens. And the Bruins. Casper racing away. Stopped at center by Naslund. He fed it back to Penny. Chelios. Back of the goal starting up now. 1:40 left in the Linsman penalty. The Canadians shoot it in. Bobby Smith on the boards with Chelios to Smith again. Smith hangs onto it. Now breaks for the net. Goes in around the goal. Smith trying to spring somebody loose. Naslund. Tremblay shooting. Great save by Keens with the blocker. He made a good move to stop that shot. Bobby Smith digging it out. Smith going in, scores! Picture goal just like last night when he came out in front and backhanded it home.
Boy, what a dominating figure for the Canadians Bobby Smith has been in the two games here in Boston. That makes it 4-1 Canadians. And look at the time clock. 19:57. 3 seconds left, first period.
Well, again, Dick, you're right about Bobby Smith, boy. Has he ever been dominant? And again, his big, long reach allowed him to come out in front. They really had the Bruins pressing here with the man advantage, and the penalty to Ken Linsman hurts the Bruins. There's Smith with lots of room to roam out in front of the net, and Keens really can't do much but stay in there. Tried to get a hold of him, and Bobby Smith slipped it between his stick and his body. 3 seconds to go in the period. That'll do it as they face it off. We've had a bit of everything in this period. Montreal certainly with a commanding 4-1 lead. The Bruins are going to have to change some strategy. Rough is okay, but hurting your team by taking penalties and putting them at a disadvantage is not what they can afford to do.
And so the score at the end of the first period is Montreal 4, Boston 1. Stay tuned for our first intermission.
The Canadians' domination on the scoreboard reflected in the shots on goal total. Montreal 18 and Boston 8, and that did translate into a 4-1 score. Two of the Montreal goals, the goals by Mats Naslund and Bobby Smith, coming on the power play, and Ken Linsman was the Boston player serving the penalty both times. So costly penalties to Linsman. Again, the scoring. Walter opened it for Montreal. The Bruins tied it on the contested goal by Charlie Simmer. And since it was credited to Simmer, and with about a fifth look at it, it does appear that the Canadians might have had a beat. But not after they scored 3 more times did they worry too much about the Simmer goal. Naslund on the power play, Serge Boisvert, and then Bobby Smith. 4-1 in favor of the Canadians over the Bruins. And one important statistic as far as the Bruins are concerned, or non-statistic you might say, is that in this series, Raymond Bourque does not have a point. No goals, no assists, no points for the Bruins spearhead on defense, Ray Bourque. For more on that, let's go to Dick Irvin with Mickey Redmond.
Well, Dave, he was the spearhead on offense, too. Their highest point man in the regular season. Mick, that has to be a big plus for Montreal, obviously.
Well, no question about it, Dick. But, you know, I don't think that you could say Raymond Bourque has not played well. He had a tough night, I think, in Montreal. I think it was game 1 that we were mentioning. But he's played very well, I think, throughout the series. But it is very unusual because he is a high-scoring player on a defensive role, actually. But, you know, he leads this team in shots on goal, over 300. He has, in the last 3 seasons, led them on shots, and usually does figure in a lot of the scoring. So it has to hurt the Bruin club for him to not be assisting or scoring some goals.
Mick, after the game last night, several of the Canadian players mentioning to me the one good thing they felt, or one of the good things, they scored on the power play. It cost them a bit in the games in Montreal. Here again tonight, big plus.
Well, it is. I don't know if there was one or maybe 2 of them there, that the last one with Linsman off where they scored again, which really gives them a big edge. But that's what you have to do when you're on the road and you're playing a team that likes to hit and rough it up and try to intimidate. If you don't take advantage of those kind of situations, they'll run you right out of New England, if you will. And you've just got to try to score. If you can score, then they have to lay back, and they can't afford to take those liberties with you. So that's the plan.
And that's what happened last night. So far, it's happening here again tonight, and the Canadians have a 4-1 lead. Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC will return in just a moment.
By 3 goals at 1 point last night, and it's the same tonight. Montreal 4 and the Boston Bruins 1. Just about set to get underway out in Calgary as game 4 of that series in the Smythe division. The Flames trailing the Winnipeg Jets 2-1, but the Jets are without the services of Dale Howard-Chuck tonight. Here's Brian McFarland with Winnipeg GM John Ferguson.
Winnipeg captain Dale Howard-Chuck is out for this series, injured last night after a rib-crunching check in the second period of play. Jamie McCowan's stick check did the damage to Howard-Chuck, and the agony on the captain's face, even before he hit the ice, told John Ferguson everything he had to know, that he'd have to get along without his captain for the next little while. And John, bring us up to date on Howard-Chuck's condition.
Well, we sent him back home. He has definitely got the cracked ribs, and hopefully we can get him back for the next series with a flak jacket, if it's possible. And but he's a pretty tough man to lose, and we knew he was hurt right away because he never goes down.
Well, that was a tremendous check by McCowan, but some question as to the legality of it.
Definite cross-check, no penalty in the play. Naturally, the whole bench was concerned, and without a question, there should have been a cross-checking penalty.
Can the Winnipeg Jets win this series ultimately without their captain, who had the best year of his life?
Well, he certainly is deserving of an MVP award, and we're going to have to find out, because we've only lost 1 in the last 15, but we've had him, and we're going to swing Perry Turnbull into center ice and let him perform tonight.
Do you think that applying the C to Howard-Chuck's sweater this year made him just the mature leader he's become with this team?
Oh, he's got great intensity, and he had fire in his eyes for this series, and believe me, he's a real player. And yes, that C probably matured him a little bit age-wise. He certainly handles the situation.
Was he a marked man in the first 3 games of this series?
I wouldn't want to go on record as saying that, but certainly there was a couple of incidents that I didn't think were the right thing, but in that situation with the McCowan check, I don't think he was maliciously trying to hurt him, but it was a definite penalty.
Nobody in Calgary thinks the Jets can win this hockey game tonight. What does John Ferguson think?
We'll be ready for them tonight, believe me.
Thank you, John Ferguson. Now let's go back to Dave Hodge.
Awaiting the winner of the Winnipeg-Calgary series is Edmonton. The Oilers sweeping the L.A. Kings in 3 straight games, despite the fact that Wayne Gretzky did not score a goal. And the Oilers as a team were 0 for 10 on the power play in the 3-game series. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC returns in just a moment. 4-1 Montreal over Boston here after 1 period. At Long Island, they've already scored in less than 1 period, more goals than in the entire game last night when the Islanders beat Washington by a score of 2-1. 2-2 was the last report as we rejoin Jim Houston. Late in the first period, it's 2-2 as the Islanders dump the puck in. John Pinelli is after it. Scott Stevens upended as he tries to move out. Ryan Crosby, number 19, with Pinelli out in front. The centering pass is linked away by Craig Loughlin. We're into the final minute of the first period. More wide open affair after a great defensive game last night. Flatley takes the shot. It's the save and rebound. The net is knocked off its scoring as Flatley was checked by Bobby Gould into Al Jensen. And the net is knocked off its scoring. Minor penalties to Pinelli and Adams for roughing have expired, but there will be more penalties here. Pat Flatley takes a shot on Al Jensen. There's a big rebound up in front. And Gould is called for holding Pat Flatley on the play. Penalty comes at 19:11 of the first period. So the New York Islanders will go to the power play for the second time in the game. They scored on their first opportunity when Potvin scored at 1:51 from Pinelli and Johnson. That was a power play goal. The shots on goal are 12-9 in favor of the Islanders. Last night there were only 8 shots on goal in the entire first period. It was a much more defensive game last night. They've opened it up considerably tonight compared to last night. And it's been a very entertaining game with the score tied 2-2. The Islanders go to the power play. Winning the draw, Thomas Johnson is number 3. Into Mike Bossy, rink wide for Potvin. He takes the puck off the board. Gillies is in front of the net. He'll be in front trying to screen so the shooters can get a chance to beat Al Jensen. 30 seconds left first period. Thomas Johnson into the corner. Crochet's after it against Rod Langway. Backhand clearing pass, not out. There's a shot by Potvin. Steered wide of the net. 20 seconds left in the first period. Behind the net. Crochet working to get it out, and Doug Jarvis dumps the puck down the ice. 10 seconds to go in the first period. Islanders 2, Capitals 2. The Islanders are on the power play. Here's Crochet moving in. A pass to Gillies. They'll run out of time. Gillies won't get a shot on goal. The penalty carries over into the second period. Very entertaining first period on Long Island. The Capitals and the Islanders are tied 2-2. And don't the Philadelphia Flyers love it when they see those teams slamming each other around? First place in some divisions anyway can make or can appear to make a difference. The Flyers awaiting the survivor of the Capitals versus the Islanders. Live on CBC, this is Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's 4-1 for the Montreal Canadiens over the Boston Bruins. Walter, Naslund, Boisvert, and Smith doing the scoring for Montreal. After Charlie Simmer had tied it at 9:21, the Canadiens came back, and 2 of their last 3 goals came on power play. Second period about to begin. Here's Bob Cole.
And right off the bat, Linsman goes to his knees on the draw at center ice, and the Canadiens grab the puck. And it's played in. Blum in there with Bork again.
Here they go.
Bork carrying the puck out, but another scrap has started down in the corner. That is McPhee of the Canadiens.
Well, McPhee waited 15 seconds this time, Mick, for his fight in the period. Last time it was 0-0.
And he's probably going to get more than John Blum because Blum never got the gloves off. And it might be a 5 and a 2 situation.
That'd leave him 1 major short of being thrown out of the game.
That's right. Blum never got the gloves off, and McPhee obviously carrying a chip on his shoulder for John Blum as they continue to have words. So we'll see what the call is here by Brian Lewis. Maybe Blum's not going to get a penalty at all. Wouldn't that be something?
You know, Mike McPhee's one of the mildest mannered, quietest members of the Canadiens entourage when you're traveling with the team on the road. Boy, he's been upset more than a little bit recently, and tonight's another example.
I'll tell you what, he's going to luck out right here, Dick. Even though his team's going to be short-handed, he only gets 2 minutes. And there's how it started right off the bat, as you mentioned, 15 seconds into the period.
Blum's left gauntlet in his face.
I would see that I think McPhee fired about 5 or 6 punches and gets away with only a 2-minute minor. Blum does not get a penalty. And the Bruins will try to get back into this one, trailing by 3.
Well, their power play leaves much to be desired. They've been carrying the puck all right for the Canadian zone. But the Canadians have been pretty good in there, setting up the box. and intercepting passes. Let's see how this one works for Boston. O'Connell, right off the bat, hit Carbonneau with the pass, and it goes down the ice. 4-1, Montreal. Bruins almost in a must situation to score now. Linsman dropped it back to Crowder to Linsman. He stopped. And again, the Bruins will have to go back. The crowd not liking the way this second period is starting. What with the team down, 3 goals, and now a power play, and they haven't had a shot yet. 1:15 left in the penalty. It'll be 1:10 by the time Bork picks it up. That's what it is now as Bork starts away. Bork being foiled first by Naslund, then a bad pass to O'Connell. He is covered. Reed stick handling with it, shooting it in. Canadians, Chelios is there. He'll come this way, try to find the opening off the boards to Walter, and Walter sends the Bruins back again. Still no shot for Penny on this power play by Boston. Canadians lead 4-1, and O'Connell comes to center with Raymond Bork coming in. Bork still with it, going in back to the net. Robinson took it away from him. Robinson back there battling for it, but it's Reed coming out with the puck. O'Connell shooting, that's blocked by Carbonneau, and we've seen Carbonneau do that a lot in this series, falling in front of the shots for the point. Only 18 seconds left, and the Bruins have yet to get a shot at Penny. They're up to the line and stopped again. Celine, Harry Sinden over there shaking his head at the Bruins bench. Team not able to get a shot on this power play, and it's over now. And the Canadians go in. Bob Gainey takes a drive. That's right on for Teams to make his first stop of the period. Butch Goring dropped it over for O'Connell. Back to Goring, and missed him. Canadians in to grab it. That'll be icing as they do. And it comes back to the Boston zone.
Well, we take a look at what's happening elsewhere. 2-2 at the Nassau Coliseum. The Islanders and the Capitals now into the second period of play in that one. The Islanders facing elimination, and the Nordique and the Sabres are scoreless through one period. Into the second period, and Thomas Steen's goal has given the Winnipeg Jets a 1-0 lead over the Calgary Flames up the Saddle Dome.
Canadians lead 4-1 here in the Boston Garden. Win tonight for Montreal, and this series will be over. Milbury comes to center ice and was stopped right there. Look out! Boisvert was nailed by Tallene as he tried to move in. Cardinal now for Boston. He lost control of it as he tried to set it up for Casper. Canadians shoot it down the ice. This will be icing with Tallene back. And now they've played 3 minutes of the second period, and it's still 4-1 for Montreal.
I'll tell you, you got to keep your head up in this game, Dick. That's right. Tallene took a run at Boisvert. I'll tell you, didn't see him coming to the last minute. Right there when he turned around and took the pass, he just barely avoided some of the check. Anyway, he lost the stick. The helmet got bumped up. The Bruins love to do that in this building with that short center ice area. They catch you with your head down, boy. They'll feed it to you.
Penny will cover up. Walter scored first. Then Middleton for Boston. Naslund, Boisvert, and Smith in a row. 4-1. All the scoring in the first period.
They have changed it, Bob, in other words. It's not Simmer, it is now Middleton. Which is the only way the goal could count.
Great. So now we know it hit a Canadian stick. O'Reilly to Milbury. Milbury dumped it in. Bruins went in after it. O'Reilly is there in the middle of things.
Chelios is hurt.
Down goes Chelios, and I think Chelios has been hurt on that play.
Got sandwiched between 2 guys. It was O'Reilly and Cardinal, I believe.
Well, I tell you, this is the first downer for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. And indeed in the 2 games here in Boston. And I see Yvan Balanger and the Canadiens physiotherapist and team doctor Doug Kinnear, they're right behind the glass in that area, come out of their seats. Now take a look at this.
That could be a nice Charlie horse in the right leg. O'Reilly with a good hip check. Cardinal had Chelios from behind. And Terry O'Reilly with a pretty good hip check. It was a clean check from what you can see of it. No question about it. Watch the hip check on the right leg, right there. And those hurt.
Now we come back live, and Chris Chelios is still on the ice. Gaetan Lefebvre of the Canadiens training staff is out there with him. He has barely moved, gentlemen, from the time he hit the ice. Ooh, there's somebody threw something from up in the gallery that would have been dangerous had it hit a player or an official. It's a fish.
Well,
now there's a fish industry convention going on here in Boston. Maybe a conventioneer displaying his wares.
Sir, supper after the game going out the door right now.
Dan Canny, the veteran Boston trainer over there with the towel.
Haji's probably saying, save that one for me.
I tell you, when a player is on the ice as long as Chelios has been, this has got to be serious. He is now being assisted to his feet.
Chelios injured.
Top guns at
Chris Chelios being assisted by both Canadian and Boston training staff people. He coasted off the ice, Mick, as you notice, putting very little, if any, weight on his right leg.
I think it's a Charlie horse, Dick. Hope it's not too serious, and it's a serious enough injury as it is.
So we're underway again as Milbury takes a shot, a weak one wide. There's O'Reilly trying to center it. Canadians are going to move it out and go down with it. That is Hunter shooting. That's stopped by Keane. O'Reilly, a pass ahead, a little bit too far for Casper. And Ludwig back there. Casper was in to play it, though. O'Reilly going after it. On the boards, McPhee. McPhee was hit hard by Blum. They're going to get going now. You know they are.
Look at this. Now, McPhee took a shot at Blum. What's he going to do? Lewis had already called a penalty to Blum for elbowing, I believe, or high sticking, as he did get it up into McPhee's face. And look at McPhee with the left glove off. He had already taken a punch at Blum, so he's got to get something out of this, Dick. And as you had pointed out, one more fight. Of course, he didn't get a major on the last one, so he figured, I got one more.
Well, Dave pointed out that Ray Bourque did have a point in this series. Chris Nyland of the Canadiens, who was the league's most penalized player this year, hasn't had a penalty. Mike McPhee's taking over tonight.
There's a penalty right there coming to Blum.
And they're both going to get two, according to the penalty clock here at the Boston Garden.
Well, the McPhee penalty will be for elbowing, I am sure.
You can bet that you haven't seen the end of those two before this night is over.
So penalties again here in the second.
For Eric Pound.
All right, the penalties, McPhee for roughing. Oh, elbowing, I'm sorry, and Blum for roughing. 3:57. So it's 4-1, Canadians. And again, Boston's Bourque has the puck. Simonetti on this side. Slager took his pass and went in there. Slager tried to drop it back to Bourque and couldn't do it. He was covered right away by Green. Now Bourque anyway has it. Took a shot right at Naslund, and it bounced to center ice. Simonetti with Smith watching him. Smith stealing the puck from Montreal. Turning with Naslund. That's Green back there with Curvers. Curvers played it from center right in toward the net. It's just wide, and Keane's just stopped it there for Bourque. Bourque looks for a bit of room and goes to the right side with it. Fergus tried to go in. He couldn't beat Curvers on that play. Bourque again, intercepting near center. Hit it over on an open wing, and the Bruins had to go all the way back. That is Fergus again with Carbonneau on the ice. Canadians making changes. Play to the line. Gainey was standing right there, and the Bruins just unable to get anything going. They're trailing by 3 goals. Raymond Bourque is in there. His shot easily stopped. And Gainey speeding away for Montreal. Gainey took a shot. That was blocked by the defenseman O'Connell. Now 3 Bruins come out, led by Linsman. Linsman to Bourque. Bourque hit it right off Gainey's shin again. And the Canadians take over. Pass to Gainey. He wrapped it out one-on-one. It's Carbonneau against Milbury. And Milbury got his stick down to deflect the shot away. O'Connell back in for Boston. O'Connell played it to the side of the net for Milbury. The two defensemen trying to get some offensive action going for Boston. Lindsman couldn't jam it in. Canadians again. Naslund. A long pass ahead to Smith. Nearing the 6-minute mark of the period. The penalized players are back on. It's still 4-1 Canadians. O'Connell stepping over center, but Middleton was in there, and he was offside. Stanley Cup 85 returns in a moment. Redmond and Dick Irvin at the Boston Garden in Game 4 of this best-of-5 series. And the Canadians threaten to wrap up the series tonight. They're leading now 4-1. And we're coming up to the 7-minute mark of the second period. 5-3 wins. One for the Bruins, the other for the Canadians in Montreal in games 1 and 2. Canadians last night 4-2. O'Connell is in there with Middleton. Deep in his own zone, back of the net, O'Connell again. Boy, the Canadians doing a great job. And they look very organized as they watch the Bruins try to come out. And they stop them again in the center ice area. Canadians have been taking away center ice from Boston. Look at Turcotte trying to go in. There he went all the way, but O'Connell just flipped it away from him. Long pass, missed Middleton. Bruins just can't get anything going right. It's icing against Boston.
Well, it's still 4-1 for the Canadians here in Boston. Let's go now to the Nassau Coliseum and Jim Hewson.
Just after the expiration of a Washington power play, Timo Blomqvist takes the shot. Billy Smith makes 3 saves but can't control a rebound. Doug Jarvis is in the slot, shoots the puck home, and the Washington Capitals lead 3-2 in the second.
So, a defensive specialist, Doug Jarvis, last year's winner of the Selke Trophy, giving the Washington Capitals the lead. The Caps, with a win, can wrap that series up. Stop the Islanders from appearing in the finals. 5 straight years they've been there. They're hanging on the ropes right now.
Svoboda's shot, clean, shaky, but he stopped it. And the Bruins covered up for him. Casper gave it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly to Casper. Robinson draped over him, and he couldn't make a move. O'Reilly is bumped in on the boards. O'Reilly still fighting for it. Boisvert ran into him. Now Boisvert stealing the puck from Montreal and dumping it out. 7.5 minutes gone. Second period. Montreal 4, Boston 1. Play comes down out of Smith. Smith, who's been a standout for the Canadians tonight, goes in the corner, and Borg pinned him in on the boards, allowing Casper to move away with it. That's Casper to center. Casper going all the way this time. Casper stopped out there in time. Blum stopped the puck. Then O'Reilly flipped it ahead. Blum has been into everybody now. He's over there at the moment, pushing and shoving with Rooney. And offside now, called at the Boston line.
Well, there's the blushing bridegroom. Steve Rooney with a goal last night, and regular turns. You know, he didn't get the regular turns that much, Mick, in the 2 games in Montreal. Mind you, penalties kind of interrupted the Canadians' flow. Right here, he gets a greeting from Terry O'Reilly, who comes in from behind after Rooney had been tied up with Blum, and O'Reilly took a shot at him from behind. Bobby Smith says, playing with this youngster from the Boston area, he has fine puck sense. It's the one thing that's impressed Smith most of all. Hockey sense.
That won't work for Boston. Shooting the puck from his own zone. O'Connell racing again against the Bruins. Back it'll go to the right of Keens, and the Bruins, Dick, just unable to get it going. I don't know. It doesn't appear as if they've quit, but boy, they're frustrated.
Well, the game through the first 8 minutes and 12 seconds of this second period, Bob, with the Canadians ahead by 3, it's gone exactly the way Montreal wants it. But give Montreal credit for some fine penalty killing. It really frustrated the Bruins.
O'Connell grabs it. He and Milbury are back there. Simmers up front with Lindsman and Crowder. Milbury starts to the line. A pass to Crowder went in behind him. Penny will have to play it, though, and he does, all the way down the ice. Keens now has to play it. So from one goaltender to the other. Milbury is dumped. goes on. Gainey just fed it back in his own zone. Now the center ice zone. Back to the Bruins line, Milbury and O'Connell. O'Connell again wrapped it. This time he put it right at Penny. And Green, pumped by Simmer. Here's Lindsman cutting in there. Score! Crowder!
Crowder is back. A nice setup by Lindsman. Once again, Simmer takes the body. Lindsman takes the puck. And a perfect pass to Crowder right there. And Keith Crowder with that stick on the ice, put it between Penny's legs.
You look at the Canadiens' defense in this sequence. Rick Green is knocked off the puck by Simmer. Craig Ludwig falls down. He's backpedaling, trying to cover Crowder at the same time was off balance. Crowder, and it's 4-2 Montreal.
Crowder's third goal, as you see, but Crowder did a good job of getting open, getting behind Ludwig, playing without the puck, and allowing Lindsman a good target to shoot to or pass to.
So it's Crowder from Lindsman. Simmer, though, played a very important role on that scoring play, taking his man in on the boards, creating the loose puck for Lindsman, who set it up for Crowder. 8:55 the time. And that's just what the Bruins needed. A goal right there. It's now 4-2. Now let's see what happens. The Bruins get as far as center. Goring on there with Reed and Middleton. Bork, a defenseman with Tallene. And there's Bork lugging it in again for Goring. Score!
Betcha. Look at this place. It's a funny one. The Bruins with a bit of momentum. Bork to Goring. He just let a very average shot go, but I don't think Penny really saw it. Who was it? Ludwig, 17, I think, went down to block it, and it went underneath his leg. There's Swoboda. It's Robinson, 19. Penny does not see it, and it banks in off the far post. Got half a hockey game to play. It's a 4-3 game. Veteran Butch Goring.
So Bork does get a point now, and a very big one it is, setting up this man, Butch Goring.
You'll see some action now.
First here at 9:21, and it's now 4-3. Look at it.
There's Penny watching. Look at that. Just off that post. He's trying to find that puck, but it was underneath Larry Robinson, the veteran Goring.
It's going nuts.
It sure is. Look out now.
The Bruins have come back to within one of the Canadiens. And he hangs on to this one. Now the Bruins fans feel maybe they should call a penalty against the goaltender for hanging on to it. 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second period. It was 4-1. Short minutes ago, and now it's 4-3. The Canadiens lead cut to 1 goal. Bruins have it again in front of the net. Casper couldn't hang on to it. Centered it though. Tallene didn't get a chance to shoot it. Boisvert intercepting, going in on a break. Score! Rooney
is right. What a game.
Breakout by Boisvert.
Oh, he made the move on Tallene to pick the puck up in front of him at the Canadiens line. And it's Steve Rooney, the bridegroom, who scores right there is where
Dick,
Boisvert
I don't
steals.
think outside of right there, neither Boisvert or Rooney really had great control of the puck. Watch this. It's bouncing around. He brings it across. He's being nailed. And it's just laying there, and he got it up underneath the right arm of Doug Keens. Boy, that is a big goal, other than the fact that it is a goal, to come right back with the Bruins having it all going their way. They almost tie the hockey game, and it gives Montreal a 2-goal budge again.
The goal is right for Canadiens. It comes at 9:52. It's 31 seconds after Goring got the Bruins to within 1. Nyland is in there now. So is Gainey. He put the shot on Keens from the short side, and Keens stopped it easily. Now Simmer with Lindsman. He didn't even see it. Lindsman has to feed it back. O'Connell again to Lindsman, and he is covered now. Puck just inside the line, and they call it with 4 players there piled in on the boards.
You know, before the 2 quick Boston goals, Mick, I'd mentioned that the period had gone the way the Canadians wanted it to go. Maybe I should have added something other than the fact that they weren't pressing the Bruins. They weren't getting scoring chances. This is about the first good scoring chance they've had in the period. Goes in the net.
That's for sure. You know, it's really frustrating, or was really frustrating for the Bruins. The Canadians are getting in the road so much. They're just there. Their presence, everything was bouncing off their skates, their pads, their sticks. No matter what they did, it was right, and the Bruins just couldn't seem to get anything going. Then all of a sudden, we had the 3-goal explosion.
5-3, Montreal. The Bruins now, they're still in it. And they're coming out. Milbury goes in, tries the shot. Green easily blocked that, but now Milbury again. Milbury bumped by Green, and Charlie Simmer behind the net. Got it out front of Milbury, shooting! That was close. Canadians have to dump it out and down to relieve the pressure of the Bruins. Coming in there again. O'Connell, a soft pass ahead, bounced away from Crowder. Crowder now steals it. Tries to give it to O'Connell, but he's stopped by Carbonneau on the boards. 9 minutes remaining in this second period.
Well, Keith Crowder has accounted for himself very well after coming out of a sick bed with the flu. He doesn't look all that well either, Dick. You can tell in the warm-up he's very, very peaked looking. But I'll tell you what, he is a very big part of this Bruins hockey club. All of a sudden, with Crowder back in the lineup, Simmer and Lindsman are on fire again. Good hockey player, Keith Crowder.
Bork shot right on the money, but Penny watched it all the way. This one will be icing as Blum is back. 8:48 remaining in the period. 5-3 Canadians. The Canadians had a 4-1 lead at one point in this game. Bruins came back to within 1. Goals by Crowder and Goring here in the second period, and Rooney now for the Canadians, and it's 5-3. There's another shot by Goring. He got that one away off the mark, up high. Middleton fighting for it. Bobby Smith has it. Reed goes in there against Smith. Middleton hits the deck. Here's Goring now. He hits the deck. And the Canadians, 3 of them, come out. Right wing pass a little too far for Tremblay. And Bork now being forced to the boards by Tremblay. Bork again got it out over the line. And the Canadians go back. That's Smith, but Bork anticipated that, but Middleton could not get back out in time, and he was offside.
I don't think Bork saw him. He was all the way over on the other side by the Bruins bench. Raymond Bork with that cross-ice interception.
Chris Chelios, an injury earlier in this period, has not returned to the Canadians lineup. Washington ahead of the Islanders, 3-2. They're in the second period at the Nassau Coliseum. Both the Nordic and the Sabres have scored. It's 1-1 second period in Buffalo. And 1-1 now. Arizan scoring for Calgary to tie that game at the Saddledome.
Ludwig for the Canadians, and Big O'Reilly in there looking for a loose puck. And he's not bad finding one when he gets in mucking like that. There's O'Reilly. Got his skate on it. It comes out. Score!
Glove pass.
Oh.
Glove to head.
They're not going to count that one. That pass was off a glove.
Brian Lewis made that call immediately.
Yeah, the whistle had gone, Mick, before the shot was taken, really.
Exactly.
There is Harry Sinden. Now, here he goes doing his little... Look out, Harry, don't fall over.
He's in the penalty box trying to go after Brian Lewis.
The best used to be Emo Francis in that. He'd get on the bench with one foot on the boards and the other foot on the bench.
It's the blood pressure, Harry. Boy, oh boy. Let's have a look here now. See what happened. Again, O'Reilly in the middle of all this stuff, and Courtnall 32. Now, there's where it goes. You know what, though? He may be arguing. That looked like Courtnall threw it to himself, touched it with his stick, and gave it to Casper, which would then make it a legal play. No problem. Maybe we get another look at that. Now, if this puck comes down out of Courtnall's hand. He grabs it there, puts it down. Does he touch it with a stick or no? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And we have, with the wonderful thing called instant replay, found a mistake, an error. But, of course, Brian Lewis could not be expected to see that little tip or deflection off the stick of Courtnall. But as we saw it there, that was a legal play, and the whistle should not have gone.
Mister, that is a heavy.
No kidding.
Because the Canadians still hang on to that 2-goal lead with 7:50 to play. And you know, the way the Bruins have turned it around, really, in the second period, when it was 4-1, it almost looked as if they were dead.
Now, I wonder if Harry saw what we saw. I doubt it, but he's arguing anyway. Let's look at
Right,
one more time.
If you're the Canadians, Mick, how about closing the hand on the puck?
Well, that's another thing, but Courtnall does touch the puck as he threw it to himself. Now it's not a hand pass to a teammate. It's a legal pass as he tipped it with his stick. Casper picked up the rebound, shoved it underneath Penny. Could be 5-4, but it isn't. It's 5-3 with 7:50 to go.
This is Stanley Cup 85 on CBC.
Well, we are waiting for them to clean up some of the debris that was thrown on the ice as the Bruins protested that last call by Brian Lewis. He ruled the puck in the net illegally, and the face-off will be outside the Canadians' line. We have action waiting for us from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. Here again is Jim Hewson.
Washington Capitals take a 2-goal lead on the island. A great three-way passing play. Gardner to Gustafson at the side of the net. He beats Billy Smith, and Washington has a 4-2 lead. Goal comes on a power play at 13:54 of the second period. The pass into Gardner, over to Gustafson. He beats Billy Smith. Capitals lead 4-2 in the second period.
Well, time running out for the Islanders down there. We'll keep you posted on what's happening in here. What's happening is the Bruins are coming in again. They're trailing by 2 goals. Thought a moment ago they were just down 1, but they had one call back on a glove pass. Bruins can't keep it in. It slides all the way back inside the Canadian blue line. 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the period. Here's the Fee. Got it in front of the net. Fee went after it again, and O'Connell scooped it away. O'Connell with O'Reilly. Up on the play is Milbury and Casper. O'Reilly has to wait outside the line for Casper to clear the zone. Now he goes in, fed it in front. Here's Courtnall dropping it back. A pass to Bork, shot, score! The Boston Bruins are determined to get back in it. 5-4.
Well, the Bruins are on fire again, and it's Raymond Bork. This puck deflects off somebody. I think it's Terry O'Reilly, number 24, and goes underneath Steve Penny. Bork with a slap shot. Now watch 24 O'Reilly coming through the slot right there with his back to it. It hits his right leg, I believe, and goes underneath Steve Penny. Captain Terry O'Reilly, 5-4 Montreal. What a wild period, Bob. Great stuff.
13:15, the time of that goal by the Bruins, and this one counts. And they're standing up at the Garden again. Bruins with the Linsman line, Simmer and Crowder on the wings. They've been trouble for Canadians. Let's see how they make out on this ship. Pass to the line, Blum shot, it's in there. Penalty coming up against the Montreal Canadiens. They're in there. They score! We're tied. Linsman.
Yeah, Kenny Linsman makes up for those 2 bad penalties that led to 2 power play goals against. He's tied at 5-5.
Delayed penalty in progress, Dick, on Simmer being hauled down, and Keith Crowder makes the play. Linsman just jammed it in the open net. He had lots to shoot at. Penny was off balance. This place is absolutely bizarre. Here we go again with the Crowder, Simmer, Linsman line. They've got it going. What? Very few buildings left that act like this and sound like this when their team is going.
13:36. That goal by Linsman from Crowder, and we're all knotted up now at 5. They're scoring in Reed. Reed the backhand. And he got an arm on it. It's back to the net. Bruins fighting for it in there. Boy, are they fighting back. Right in front it comes again. And finally they have to call it a goal down there where Penny has been lifted off the moorings.
Oh, what a period. This is great if you love great action. Have one more look at it. Crowder in back of the net. Delayed penalty to Montreal coming up, and there is 13 Kenny Linsman, who's right there, and there is nobody around. Both defensemen were tied up at the side of the net. And that ties this hockey game at 5.
Steve Penny had moved one way, the puck was going the other, and it seemed that he didn't really have his balance back when he got, and he was down.
He lost sight of Crowder. It's impossible to follow a guy either way. And it's just as he was looking back the other way, Crowder made the pass out in front, and there was teammate Linsman.
Well, so much for 3-goal leads in this series.
No kidding. That's right.
Well, Kenny Linsman's goal makes it 5-5, 6:07 to play in the second period. Canadians now. Remember when the Bruins got to within 1 some time ago, the Canadians did get back and got a goal. Well, we're tied again now at 5. That's Milbury back of the net. Hunter is on there with Walter and McPhee for the Canadians. The Bruins start out up to center, and they're moving, I'll tell you. There's Middleton going after it. But it's outside the line, and O'Connell brought it in offside.
You know, it seems like forever that Montreal's been down in the Boston zone since that goal by Rooney, which really wasn't all that long ago.
Well, they haven't had many scoring chances, Mick. We have a report on Chris Chelios. A strained right knee. He will not be back in tonight's game. And it could be as this one wears it down. 4th game in 5 nights for these teams. A strapping youngster like Chris Chelios will be sorely missed by the Canadians, the way this one's turned around.
5:38 remaining in the period. Canadians, Ludwig, tried to pass in, but Reed, the winger, got back. Couldn't get out with it. Tried to lug it out himself. Naslund backhands it in. Tremblay is giving chase against Milbury. Tremblay took Milbury out of the play. Smith centered it. Look out, there's a shot off the arm of Teams. That was close. Gording now can't feed it out. Canadians are after it again. Teams is down. Middleton is there to take it away from the goal mouth. He got it off the boards to center. It went by Reed. Canadians shoot it in again. Going back there, Milbury. Milbury feeds it up along the boards and out. Goring belted by little Naslund.
That could have been a very
back at him.
interference call.
He goes right on, and Milbury goes in. Milbury takes a shot. That's blocked by Ludwig. Middleton bumped in the corner. Bruins a fire here in the second period. They were down 4-1. Canadians added another. They're back into it at 5 now with 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this second period.
Cooper has always given you...
You know, I've seen Matt Naslund play almost every game he's played for the Canadians in his 3 years in the NHL. I can't recall him taking a run at somebody like he did at Butch Goring.
Lucky he got away with it because Goring hadn't touched that puck, Dick. That could have very easily been an interference call.
Linsman and O'Reilly scoring here in the second. We're tied at 5, and the Bruins after the puck again is Casper. Back of the net it goes. O'Reilly on the ice again. Watch him. The big fellow always finds it like this. O'Reilly back of the net. O'Reilly centered it. And Casper fired on the pass. Going in Boisvert. Chasing him is Blum. Boisvert couldn't center it. Bork stopped it. Now Blum reaching from the corner. Playing it up to O'Reilly at the line, and Casper at center, and he dumped it into the Canadian zone. The Bruins make changes. 3:40 to play in the second period.
There's Linsman again. Oh, he went for that far corner and just missed it. O'Reilly jumping in after it. O'Reilly looking back to the line. Not a good pass. And the Canadians racing up after it, but back is Milbury to save a 2-on-1. Milbury now off the glass on a crazy hop. Grabbed it for Linsman, who dropped it in front of the net. And O'Reilly is out again. O'Reilly ahead to Linsman. Kenny Linsman going in. Linsman stopped by Ludwig. He and Ludwig bumped together. Ludwig lost his stick. Linsman comes out of the zone as Gainey rips in there. Gainey fed it in behind the net. Now it's starting to get rough again. Carbonell bumping in there with Crowder, who falls to his 2 knees, and he freezes the puck.
Now, Ken Linsman's been involved. He's in the penalty box for a couple of Montreal goals in the first period. Gets the big one here in the second period, or one of the big ones, and starts to play again like Ken Linsman plays. When he's effective and when he does things like that. Ooh, no call that time on Craig Ludwig. And Linsman gets set for the face-off, and Ludwig, I believe, yes, it appears as though he was cut by Linsman's high stick. And on that occasion, no penalty call. Linsman fortunate. Ludwig unfortunate.
Crowder, Goring, O'Reilly, and Linsman. 4 Boston scorers here in the second period. Rooney got the goal for the Canadians. 5-5 with 2:55 to play in the period. The Linsman line. Sinden really using this outfit now. Crowder and Simmer on the wings. They'll fire again tonight, as they were in Game 1 at the Forum in Montreal. Celine up to center ice. Shoots one in off Robinson's glove. Look at Crowder go in there in a hurry. Svoboda took him into the boards. And the Canadians come out, led by Robinson up to center. Robinson and Tremblay shoots. Rebound there. And it's cleared away to the right of the net. O'Connell. Crowder went flying into the boards over there. Getting up slowly. Celine is in for Boston. Celine to the corner. Dumped it over in front, and Penny just scooped it. And he held on to it.
Jacques Lemaire's made a change. He has taken Alfie Turcotte basically out of the rotation, put Bobby Smith in between Tremblay and Naslund. Ryan Walter worked the last couple of shifts with Boisvert and Rooney.
He's got them all mixed up right about now, Dick, doesn't he? He's got Hunter and McPhee now coming out, I believe, with Walter. So that's one line that remains intact.
Walter doing double duty right here. He was out there a minute ago. Right. The other pair, as we mentioned, Walter getting a new stick, holding things up. We have 2:17 left. Second period. If you just joined us, the Montreal Canadiens had a 4-1 lead in this hockey game. Nearing the halfway mark of the second period, it's now tied 5-5.
And the Bruins send on Goring, Middleton, and Reed. Bork on there again with Blum. Canadians, Ryan Walter got the draw, but it comes out from the Goring. Now Hunter gets it away to McPhee. McPhee put it in by Bork. Keane's out of the net, stopping it for Blum. Blum nearly lost it. Bork goes in and says, I better help out and move this one around. And he does. Hunter is standing out in front, waiting for the Bruins defenseman to start the play. And he comes to the line, then tries the shot and missed the net. And that'll be icing against Boston, as Ludwig was the first one near it. I don't know, Mick, about that play. The Bruins have been doing that a lot this second period.
Very strange play.
All right, Mick, I'm sure a lot of Montreal fans are sitting at home saying, hey, why did they lay back? Why did they start protecting the lead?
I don't think they did.
No? Okay.
No, not really.
But they weren't.
I think the Bruins just got their legs going and started to play, and they got Montreal on the run, which can happen to anybody, whether you're laying back or not. Sometimes what can happen unknowingly is that you just relax that little bit when you've got a 3-goal lead. As we pointed out, they've disappeared in this series like nothing else. You just aren't as intense as if it's tied or it's only 1 goal. When you get up 2 or 3, you have a tendency to relax. It just happens that way. Next thing you know, the other team gets one and they're back into it.
Bruins now being very careful in our own zone, but Tremblay steals it, center net, score! Beautiful play by Tremblay to Larry Robinson, and the Canadians are out front again, 6-5.
Last shot wins.
You know, this is of all buildings in the National Hockey League, you see more strange goals in this building than I have ever seen in my life. Robinson comes out of nowhere. Everybody's over on this side of the ice. You can put a blanket around 6 or 7 of them. And look at this. Robinson from the right point comes in, has got half a net to shoot at. Keys didn't see it. I think it came across in that mess of players. Tremblay, I think, was trying to get it in the middle to who? Naslund? And it went through everybody, and there's the big bird. Watch Keens follow this now. He's following it across, and all of a sudden he realizes that Robinson's in there, and it's too late. Bingo. 6-5 Montreal.
Here at 18:20. A late goal in the period. And look, don't go away. This period is not over yet. It's 6-5 Canadians and the Bruins. Casper stick handling as far as center. 2 Canadians converge on him and take it away from him. Bobby Smith took a look, then made a play over here to Rooney. His shot knocked down. Bobby Smith right in there, and Keens had to come up big to stop Bobby Smith, who hopped on the rebound like a bullet.
Well, I tell you, Doug Keens gave up a rebound there with right to Smith. Keens recovered. And that was a close call.
Here comes this line again. Rooney and Smith involved, and Boisvert, and there's that big reach again of Bobby Smith. Gets loose from Mike O'Connell, but little Doug Keens holds his ground. You know, all the goals scored here, 11 goals in less than 2 periods of hockey. You might think that the goaltending has been shaky, but it really hasn't. Both goaltenders have made some big stops. This one could have been a 9-8 game, possibly.
It might be.
Canadians with a draw. That's Boisvert. Pinned on the boards by O'Connell. Fergus back there. Canadians still fighting for it. A minute left in the period now as the Bruins get it out as far as the line. And Milbury knocked it down the ice. Out of the net is Steve Penny again. Feeds it to the other corner for Rooney. He got away from O'Reilly's check, but O'Reilly stole the puck. Trying to force a face-off here in the Canadian zone. Kerber's in on the boards against O'Reilly. O'Reilly got it back somehow. O'Connell is stopped, and the Canadians shoot it out and down the ice. 30 seconds left in the period. Milbury back, and icing called against Montreal. Milbury and Nyland now with a few words.
Well, Dick, is Chris Nyland going to break his record? He hasn't been involved. Chris is getting a little bit frisky right there with Mike Milbury.
And now we welcome you people who have been watching the game in Western Canada tonight to this one in the Boston Garden. I'm Bob Cole, along with Dick Urban and Mickey Redmond and Dave Hodge. And here it's been wild and woolly. The Canadians at one point had a 4-1 lead. And you think the coaches have nightmares? Well, they have tonight. The Bruins stormed back to get to within 1. It was 4-3. The Canadians went up 5-3. And then a couple more by the Bruins, tied it at 5, and now Robinson here at 18:20 of the second period has given the Canadians a 6-5 lead. We have just 30 seconds remaining in the second period. And the face-off, as you see, in the Canadian zone. Bork shot, rebound, they score! Lindsman again! We're tied at 6.
Well, after some playoff-type hockey through the first 3 games, this one is really something.
Face-offs again, Dick. And this line of Simmer, Crowder, Lindsman are in the middle of it. Robinson falling down, or is it Green? I can't tell. And there's Kenny Lindsman, almost like a replay of his goal earlier in the period. His first goal was in the right spot.
Watch Penny on this play. Robinson falls down, but Penny moves away from where the puck is. Watch this, see? He coasts over to that side, gets caught in traffic.
He's got Ludwig in front of him. Exactly. He can't see it, and a Boston player, and we've had a bit of everything. They're going in from all angles of the Boston Gardens ice surface.
19:36 the time of the goal by Lindsman, his second of the period. And the Bruins are not satisfied. They want to go ahead before the period is out. Only 12 seconds left, though. The Canadians might have a shot at that. The way they've been all scoring so quickly. Simmer grabs it, takes it out of harm's way back of the net. That'll do it as the puck rolls to center ice. Nyland went into the boards, missing his man. Crowder put it in the net, but of course, the period had ended, and we're tied at 6.
Look out. Now we get this situation that has haunted that Calgary-Winnipeg series at the end of the period. In this game tonight, if the Western viewers are still with us, I can tell you we had a fight at the 0-0 mark of the first period. Even before they dropped the puck, Keith Crowder and Mike McPhee started a fight and ended up with 15 minutes worth of penalties. Now, this is the first type of this scene that we have seen in this series. No further damage comes of it. And the Boston Bruins, who were being booed by their hometown fans earlier in the second period, receive a tumultuous standing ovation. They have scored 5 times to tie the hockey game.
And so the score at the end of the second period, Boston 6, Montreal 6. Stay tuned for our second intermission.